right, I need help because I love witches. Like, it's just a cool concept. Magic, dark. I love the idea of witches. So for Halloween, I'm like, let's make a video with some good witch book recommendations. I have none. None whatsoever. I guess a year or two ago, I read The Year of the Witching, which I get it's a very beloved book, but it's YA. It reads like YA to me. There's a lot of hand holding in terms of this religious organization is bad. He has multiple wives. He's abusing them. Person of power, young women, dying in childbirth, and then another character ostracized, witches in the woods. Cool atmosphere, but it really reads like YA to me, and that's not my vibe. So I'm like, okay, let's pick up some other witch book recommendations. I was so excited to read Hex. And I'm like, this is such a cool concept. It's modern day, but classic horror. So you got a classic horror witch whose mouth and eyes have been sewn shut, and she's just haunting this town. But it's been going on for so long that the residents of this town are just used to it. Like, they have an app to keep track of where she is so outsiders never see her. And it's just like, oh, there she is again. And she's not really doing anything. She's confined, like she's chained, and so long as her mouth and eyes and chains are all intact, that she can't hurt anybody, so she's just there. And I'm like, how people experience this, what they do to it, as well as like modern technology. And some of the kids want to reveal the truth about the witches because they can't leave the town. If they leave, her curse acts on them, and like they want to commit suicide, so they have to stay in this town. They just want to leave, so they want, hopefully if they reveal the truth of the witch, someone will come help them. But the other people in town's like, no, you don't understand how bad it can get. No one can know. And I was bored the entire time. I had to go buy the audiobook because I couldn't physically read it because I was so bored. I hated the characters. I was rooting for the witch to kill everybody. It dragged. This book was just too long. I can't recommend it for me. I love the idea of like the 17th century witch trapped in 21st century world with apps and teenagers and all that going on. I love the mob mentality. I love the small town, but there was so much descriptions of like boobs and nipples, and just like no searching for history. Like we hear a story about how the witch came to be and who she was in life and what happened to her, but no one thinks to go, oh, let's dig more into this history. Let's see if it's true. Let's see if there's any lies. Let's like do something proactive. Instead, no, just nothing. It's really like give me vibes of Paul Tremblay with its modern, like the horrors of mundane life, almost. And I need a plot. I like the ending. The ending was fine, but was not worth the build up to it. I picked up a children's book because I had no other books on my shelf at the time, and my library didn't have the next book I wanted to read right away. So, Roald Dahl, The Witches, like classic book that there's a movie adaptation that I definitely seen and traumatized me when I was younger, and I enjoyed this, but it is a children's book, so it's not really the kind of recommendations I want it to give, but this was my favorite book that I read for this video. I adore this. It is traumatizing for children. I'd argue this is not a children's book. Just because you describe something terrible happening in a cute little song rhymey way does not change the fact that something traumatizing is happening. Like, if I was a small child reading this, I would be disturbed. And the ending, oh my god, like, this is not a child-friendly book. I love it, but okay, I like one witch book. This was a good book. Kids' parents have died, trauma, witches are real, and they're after children. He turn into mice, got to take down the witches in this old hotel with former witch hunting grandma. Recommends, but again, it's written as a children's book, but it would traumatize children, and I do love that. But I'm looking for a horror book, not a children's book. I love this book. Don't assume I didn't love this one. White is for Witching. Do you know how beautiful this cover is? How much I was looking forward to reading this book because beautiful cover. Did I know what this book was about? No. There's also very little witches involved in it. I DNF'd it. Do you know how badly I have to dislike a book for me to DNF it? I was... hang on. 162 pages in. I could not tell you the plot. I can't tell you really anything about the characters. There are two kids. Their mother died. The sister is missing, but we're back and forth between flashbacks of different time periods. You never know when you're switching point of views. I do like one little element where when we switch point of views, like the last sentence, the last word will be the like first word used on the next paragraph of the next point of view, so they kind of flow into each other. But I got like a racist house. That's all I got. That's all I got. I could not read this book. I did not understand it. I did not like the plot. I did not understand the characters. I didn't know what was going on. I'm done. I'm done. This put me in a reading slump. A reading slump in October, my favorite time of the year to be reading, and this book put me in a reading slump. I picked up Maggie's Grave because TikTok recommended it to me, and I gotta probably not take recommendations from TikTok, but I was told horror, witch with a curse, attacking vengeance on this town, and body horror. Yes, that is 100% what this is. This opened up with such an interesting premise, like insane. This woman back in, I don't know, 1400s had her child stolen from her. Her eyes were gouged out, attacked by crazy religious people, accused of being a witch. She's like, you want me to be a witch? I'll be a damn witch. Curse on all of you. And then cut to modern day when you're following like teenagers, young 20s, going about the same town, and there's like a town meeting going on because something big is happening. And like brutal, gruesome, descriptive, bordering on extreme horror, bodily horror descriptions, but told with this humorous B-movie vibe atmosphere. Like, I was hooked. I was loving it. It was great. Then around the half 60% point, give or take, the tone switched to be like cruel and just slut-shaming all the characters. Characterization was not consistent. All of a sudden they felt like different people. And the ending had the most obvious twist that I have ever read, like probably this year. I was so disappointed. Beginning 5 stars, possibly new favorite horror. Halfway 60% onwards, around the time that they had an unnecessary orgy, I'm just like, what am I reading? I want to DNF this. I hate it. So apparently, I have no good book witch recommendations. I got one. Read this one. It's the only good witch book that I got. So I need some recommendations for your favorite book with the center focus being witches. Slewfoot was also on my list, but I didn't get to it because White is for Witching put me in such a reading slump. Let me know if I need to give White is for Witching another try. Maybe I need to restart it from the beginning now that I kind of know what's going on and I can go through it again. But like, I couldn't do it. I really just couldn't do it. That is all I got. Talk to you later. Please, I'm serious. I need witch book recommendations, preference for authors of color too, because I thought that would be a good thing to be able to recommend to people, and now I can't. So please help me. Please, I'm desperate. Thank you.